Hi St Matthews, Geal here, to share another midweek thought with you, which is a real joy to be able to do. I've been thinking about water a lot since Sunday. For those of you that were there, Helen preached on Jesus' baptism, and a lot of our liturgy kind of reflected the wateriness of the theme of the service. So it's been on my mind a lot. I'm a bit of a denominational mishmash, happily so, but I was christened or baptised as an infant in the Methodist Church, which at the time was having a refurb, so the actual baptism took place in a Catholic building down the road. I then discovered faith for myself as a child, and I decided to be baptised as a teenager in the church that we were worshipping at, the Baptist Church. And then ended up in the Anglican Church, which I have now been confirmed in. Confirmation is speaking the promises that might have been made on our behalf at an infant baptism as adult consenting people, or it could be just reconfirming those baptism promises that you've made at any point, but it's part of a discipleship journey. So I like to say that I have the holy hat trick of initiation rituals going on. And then if that weren't enough, I was in Israel and Palestine just under 18 months ago and had the incredible experience of renewing my baptism vows in the River Jordan, of all places, at the purported site of Jesus in baptism, which still has to be one of the most poignant and significantly beautiful moments in my whole faith journey. It was gorgeous. And I must insert a disclaimer here, which is that as Christians, we believe that you can only be baptised once. It's not something that you need to or should do over and over. Once is sufficient. I am just an enigma who has travelled around many places. But water, not just in baptism, is a recurring and beautiful, beautiful theme in the Bible, particularly when we look to Jesus. In Jesus' encounter with the woman at the well in John chapter 4, there is that famous passage where he tells the Samaritan woman he's with that the water that he offers eternally quenches our thirst. He uses this metaphor of living water and he offers us something which is everlasting. So both in baptism, where we have this external use of water as a metaphor for cleansing and being set apart and following, we also have this metaphor of ingesting water internally, of drinking this thirst quenching living water, this everlasting life that Jesus offers. But I've also been pondering whether or not the full magnitude of these water metaphors hit us in the same way or received in the same way as they perhaps would have been in Jesus' own time. It strikes me that watery imagery loses some of its significance in our time, a time in 2025 where I can turn on a tap in the UK and have plenty of access to clean, fresh water pretty much wherever I am. In fact, literally just in the corner of my study over there, I've got a tap. So it's everywhere. And in Jesus' time, in the time of the Old Testament, water was so much more precious. Its value was higher because of its scarcity and because of the effort that it required to obtain it. Something which many countries still experience today. And the story of the woman at the well in John chapter 4 just shows the magnitude of what people had to do in order to obtain that water. And then looking forward to the future, I can't help but wonder whether the metaphor of this living, thirst-quenching water is almost prophetic in a way as well, that it's the choice to use water as imagery is very much intentional. That as we tackle climate change and rising heat and the implications of that for future access to clean water, as we see in certain spheres that there's been a call for more privatisation of water. And by that I don't just mean the water works, I mean that water itself, water on land, is being treated as a commodity to be owned and sold. And what does that mean for us? Will the words of Jesus describing the drink on offer cause an awareness in our mouths as we speak them? In a world that isn't looked after, will this analogy of water and our increasing need for it in the future mean that we read the Bible and what it says about water differently? Will the vision of a body descending into a pool of water feel somehow differently generous, abundant, or extravagantly celebratory? In a world where water is scarce, does the offer of Jesus to be a cool drink hit differently? Does baptism feel frivolous? Does it feel more special to be able to be in a place of cool water? As we use water in our everyday lives over the rest of this week, let's be mindful of our gratitude for it and all of its good uses. Let's be good stewards of it and remember our own baptisms and promises to follow Jesus as people who are marked by water and carriers of this living water. God bless.